It's boring, but 10K a month a few months back, and now just last month hitting $113,000 is what growth operating takes, then damn right, I will do it. Because growth operating, where you go to a creator and you help monetize their audience with info products that a founder like Rojal, who did $24,000 cash collected in 7 days with his travel creator, or if like Rojal, who got 50% of that, so 12K, like straight in his pocket, is something that you also want to do. And it all starts, number one, with boring Instagram outreach. But it become fun when the best first message to send, how to get the creator to listen to you with what's called status delta, flower vase branding, and creating valuable lead magnets and looms are all revealed to you today. So without any more of this, let's get to the main singies. Some of the few messages that we do see working well in all the different niches are sort of, it's called the bait and switch. Basically, you go in as saying, hey, do you have a coaching program? Hey, can I be your student? Hey, whatever. And then switching up and then be like, oh, you don't have a coaching program? Interesting. Can I go in there and, help you launch one? From us sending thousands and thousands of outbound messages for our own growth operating agency when we were running it as well, let me tell you exactly what goes on in the creator's mind as you are sort of making the switch so that then you can know how to think from that fundamental principle, how to think inside of their shoes. Because here you go in, the expectation is different. And this is from human resources. The principle comes from, all right, how to be a better manager, right? When you're a better manager, you have to set expectations straight for others. And if not, then, things are screwed. Like, think about it. If I told you that I was going to give you $1 million and then I just didn't, you're going to be like way madder at me. Rather, if I just told you, hey, all right, like, I'm not going to give you anything and I gave you nothing, you'll be like, all right, we're still good. We're still friends, right? And so that is sort of that difference within setting expectations. And so the expectation here, when you go into chatting with them, is, hey, you are going to be cash money for me. The creator is thinking, another student, perfect. There's more money for me. But the thing is, a lot of you guys I see make that switch too fast. You don't think in their shoes and you don't realize the sort of thought processes that are going in their mind. And rather you're just saying, okay, how can I just hurry up and get to the fucking, DM fast? Because I'm, DMing this creator, DMing that creator. And it's like, that's the fallacy here. You're not treating these individuals as well individuals because they are people. So if you think in their shoes, then you'll realize that, well, how does a conversation actually go? And overall, even what platform are you on? Conversational principles, and also the platform principles. So think about it. Conversations, do they go like this? Hey, can I be your student? Oh, and real quick, let me send you this entire pitch about my entire offer. Like, here's your, you just start talking about everything. Like, if you make that fucking switch that fast, people are gonna be like, what the hell's going on? Rather, conversations in real life, you would say, hey, you got a program or not? And they'll go, okay, no, not really. And you like ask more questions like, okay, why? Well, why do you not have a program? And then they're like, oh, well, because of this. And you're able to like slowly bring them down even conversations, step by step, every single little question that you ask, and then every single little word that then they say back to you is a funnel. Really, at the end of the day, it's called little driplets of commitment to the relationship with you. That is how conversations then lead to relationships in, guess what? Humans. Because at the end of the day, this is you talking to other humans, although it may seem just like a little, text bubble that you're looking at inside of the DMs. And so this is one of the biggest sort of beliefs that you had to shift when we started our outreach. One. Number two, then going into, what is the platform that we're on? A lot of what I see out there is people not realizing that this is not emails. This is not LinkedIn. This is Instagram. It's just a place to chill. It's just a place to connect. Like, fundamentally, why was Instagram built? To get people to connect. And so if that is true, then we want to think of it from that lens as, okay, how do we now approach the outreach in this way? And in there, that would be more so in like a chill tone, chill conversation, and not all this overly professional sort of idea. And so please take on these paradigms, and these are just great remembers to have, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have already heard of this, but it's not the new, shiny nugget that makes you the cash money. It's the reminders that keep you going on the basics of the action that then build the advanced. One of my favorite quotes goes, the advanced are just those who do the basics. And so you got to keep in mind that the basics is how you really make it to the end. Because guess what? These fundamental principles are then what the rest of the funnel is built on. Because, well, it's a relationship, well, it's just the platform that you're chatting on. And so then over here, you have to transition to the value in that same exact way. But I think another thing that'll be massively helpful to you guys is this concept of status delta. That principle, precisely applied over to your outreach, will yield the same results, which is obedience of whoever you're selling. And with obedience comes, well, telling them what to do. And telling them what to do is simply telling them to give you money. And when they, when you tell them to give you money, they're going to fucking listen. And so that is what status delta allows you to do. It gets you to get people to listen to you. And so explain how to establish it. Okay. Delta is a terminology from physics or mathematics. Delta means the difference in. Therefore, status delta is the difference in status. And so if this is true, we have to then take this idea and figure out and reverse engineer, well, how do we get status delta with the creators? And so I'll tell you why status delta is important. When you go to a doctor and let's say he had sandals on, he had a nice Hawaiian t-shirt on, he was barefoot, he was a little dirty. He didn't have pants on, he just had boxers, okay? You can kind of see his ball hair sticking out of there. If you're seeing that, you're like, okay, I don't know if this guy is it, right? Versus, let's say we stripped him naked and then we put onto him a nice lab coat. And then we put behind him his credentials, his master's degree from Harvard, and his medical, MD from UCLA. And then we put him, okay, we're going to put some clothes on him. No more naked doc here. We got that lab coat. He has pants this time, and then he has long white pants. Okay. He got nice shoes. And not just that, but at the front desk, there was the lady who was kind of the gatekeeper for the doctor. And you walk in, you talk to the lady, you talk to the nurse, and then she lets you into the doctor. The doctor comes in right away and he's like, all right, guys, we're gonna get right to the sauce. You got to take this, and then, fucking turn around. All you got to do is 17 push-ups and then you're going to get good. You're chilling. Who are you more likely to listen to? Right. Very clearly, the white coat doctor. And so if that is true, if you guys firsthand can see this, then we can even tie this to a cop who comes in with his, wife beater on. He comes in with, scraggly ass pants. He comes in just sitting here. And he's like, all right, guys, what's up? And he says, get behind your back. Let me arrest you. You're gonna be like, well, what the frick is this guy trying to do? He's trying to role play with me? Or if we stripped him naked and then once again, we put onto him a crazy, incredible policeman suit. He got a big Glock 96 right here. And then he got, his hat on, his policeman hat. He whipped out his police badge. He's like, get behind your fucking, get your hands behind your back. I'm gonna arrest you right now for XYZ. Obviously, you would also listen to this guy more so. And so this is because they've established what is called status delta. And so therefore you obey. Fundamentally, sales is obedience, getting the creator to obey to your commands. Why were we able to make our UGC creators obey us and then from there go and, have get up the setup fee and then have the revenue share basis going, and then from there being able to get them to take the actions to actually launch? How is Niche able to get his creator right now to take these actions? Because in the creator's mind, we are the expert being set up. And so if that principle is true, you have to A, believe that you are the expert. And this comes with skill and preparation and learning. This is why the halls are there to get you guys knowledgeable so that when you do go ahead and go in forward with the outreach portion, you are there to, you're there genuinely with a form of value to provide. And so that is that. Tactically, how to go about this will actually become someone who is worth of status by learning. And then from there, be able to discuss that learning. But I just want to keep this principle. I want you guys to like freaking nail this in your head. Status delta, status delta. Because if that is true, then they will bleed out through your actions. In terms of, I see a lot of you guys oftentimes doing this where you guys go in your outreach and say, oh, I'm just like, new, trying this out. Just want to see how this goes. Like maybe we could be like friends, No. You're here to fucking make the dude money or the gal money or the creator money. And they'll only believe that you can make them the cash money if you are somebody who is smart. And of course, you also have the cash money. And so this then ties back to the platform, right? Which is having an Instagram profile that is of status, that is showing your lifestyle, showing your wealth. And of course, tactically, you guys can't do this yet. Maybe some of you guys, because you don't have the wealth, but I guarantee you that there is a mall around you or some place that is nice and fancy looking that you can go and take pictures from and then post those on your Instagram, post those on your story, your post, wherever. And once again, please do not be resistant to posting this. There's, of course, a lot of beliefs that go under it, but I'm not going to sit here and rewire all of them. One of the main points, though, is just like nail it home for you guys. Stop being a freaking scaredy cat about posting on Instagram. Nobody really cares. Just post and like, what do you care more about? People like, maybe shit talking you a little bit in the back or like making money. What do you value more? And so please, please, please post on your Instagram to show yourself of status. And like, what are they're going to make fun of you for freaking looking cool? Like, that's what they're going to make fun of you? Then maybe you should not even care about their opinion because that's somebody who you do not want to associate with. Somebody negative and kind of a poussé like that. Okay, so now that you have understood the status delta, tactically how to go about establishing it on the profile, then from there you have to establish that also inside of your copywriting. Because fundamentally, outreaching, that texting is just copywriting. This is why somebody like Umesh can come in here and sign a creator really fast because Umesh was a copywriter before. And he has those skill sets of influence. That's why in the community, like you could see his writing is really, really good, like positioning to increase status. That's like right there, right to the point. Even in the general chat, when he starts dropping a little bit of sauce here, Umesh is, somebody who can provide that value because he knows how to speak about that value. And so how you do that is through the skill set of copywriting. Go and buy scientific advertising, write these down, scientific advertising, cashvertising, breakthrough advertising. These are the three principled books about copywriting that you must learn. And even deeper than that, reading or listening to Robert Cialdini's influence is also really, really powerful. But honestly, these three should do it. I would start first with scientific advertising and then go into cashvertising. And then from there, read and listen to breakthrough advertising in that chronological order and buy those books for $15. You'll become incredible copywriters and persuaders. Ooh, I could teach you guys about positioning. Ooh, okay. I'm going to teach you guys about positioning. That's what I'm going to do. Think of it like this. You are on a 3D plane with the creator. You're on a chessboard. And think of it literally like physical positioning. Okay, when you're on a chessboard and you're moving these pieces, guess what? It's positioning the piece to get to the end goal in the best way. And so when you're outreaching, when you are establishing status delta, when you are responding to these DMs, fundamentally, all of it is just attempting to position yourself in the creators' minds that you're outreaching to get them to view you with status delta in a favorable light, so then they will come and close with you. And a lot of the problems at the bottom end can be really, really just solved at the top through positioning. And so how do you position? We got that analogy. We got that visual of chess piece A over here that maps to chess piece over here. And really all it is, okay, that looks weird. Really all it is you want to get to this red dot. You want to make sure that your piece is being positioned over to the right spot in their mind. And by the way, this is the creator's mind. Creator's mind. Okay? And so you want to place yourself in on the red dot in your creator's mind. And so how do you do this tactically? One tactical way that I could teach you is branding. When you think about it in the really, really old days, was from the cow. When you would go and physically brand the cow. Over here. Put a cow here, and you just go and like press it with Carl's Cows Co. Now, if you love Carl and you see this cow, then you're going to do one thing, which is give it back to Carl's farm. If on the other end, however, if you hate Carl, then you might go and have a nice ribeye dinner that night because you found Carl's cow. And so what is the principle behind that, though? With branding, we have been able to influence how others make a decision when they see the letter C on Carl's Cow Co. or representing Carl's Cow Co. versus not. Why does this make us make different decisions when we see that C on a cow? It's because of what are called positive and negative associations. What are negative associations? Or what are positive associations? Negative and positive associations are like a flower in a vase. If I gave you this bouquet of flowers, okay? Let's say you're my soon-to-be bride, and I gave you this bouquet of flowers, right? And let's say one of them were dead. If you saw this, you would think otherwise of that flower. If there was one negative association there versus if it was just two flowers and both of them were, nice, then you would think otherwise if there was one flower dead. Despite there being, if there's just two good flowers, you'd be like, all right, cool, this is an incredible vase versus one dead flower. You'll be like, what the frick is going on? And so what happened here? It's one negative association and two positive associations. And so that is what Carl, Cow, and Co is. What also you are. This is why it's called a personal brand. It's a brand about yourself. No matter what you think, you already have a personal brand. A personal brand, however, that is established within your friends, at your school, at your college, at your university, at your job place, wherever you go and work. And this brand is in every individual's mind. It's in their mind. They either love you or they hate you. They have good experiences, or let's say this is a messed up flower, or bad experiences about you. And this is how people call it the reputation. People call it the vibe of that guy. But fundamentally, geez, it's brand. It's brand, founders. And so if we get this in our mind, that it's really all about brand, and we really are, then what you would want to do is associate yourself. Now, how we would go about tactically utilizing this to get cash in our pockets is by associating ourselves with as many positive flowers in our or in the mind of the creator that we are branding. We are using these branding tactics towards. How? Like this. Flower, and this is you. Okay? Flower 1. This is why this shit works. This is why the lead magnet works, by the way. This is why the Loom follow-up works. This is why all of these work. Value provision. You guys just hear this. You're like, oh, we got to provide value. Oh, you got to send a Loom. Oh, you got to send a lead magnet. Oh, you got to send a document. But why does it actually work? It's because of this. Because when you provide something to the creator, that Loom, that document, that whatever, that is valuable, it grows another positive flower in the mind of the creator to the brand that is you. You become positively branded in the creator's mind. Another flower grows, and another flower grows, and as it grows and it grows and it grows, at the maximal point, if there is a garden, a flower festival in the creator's mind about how positive and how of status that you are, then that is when the creator shows up to that call, closes on that call, and does not, require you to attack them with these follow-ups, because the creator already respects you and has positive beliefs and associations and experiences about you. It's not just, however, positivity. Because you guys think, okay, all right, then am I supposed to go to the creator and start singing happy songs to them? Should I go and, start playing my violin in front of them, start singing songs to them, sending voice notes of cracking jokes, things like that? No. Positive or negative in the text of what I mean, in the context of what I mean, is serving your goal. That's really what it comes down to. So you even have to get hyper specifically clear on what is your goal that you are going about hitting with these creators. And that is what becomes positive. And so let me tell you what your goal is with this creator. Well, most clearly, obviously, it's for them to know, like, and trust you. KLT. And the T is part of status delta. Okay. And so you have to add flowers in there that builds these elements of them knowing you, of them liking you, and them trusting you. Well, how do you do this? One of them, and this is why these principles are so gosh darn important, because this is where all this kind of builds up from. Because why do you provide value? Because, well, it just ties. So let's say there's a value flower. It ties to the status delta portion. Because when someone has educated you of something, not only do you like them, but you also trust that they are an expert, that since that value was good, then I will get more of that similar thing when I start working with Kareem or Haran or Lucas or Mustafa. But, however, instead of, or not just instead, but other than providing that value, what are other tactical ways that you could do it? Well, in order to establish that trust, that status delta, you can brand yourself and tie yourself to other individuals. So another tie that you can have is, oh, I worked with, this guy back in the day, I scaled him to 100K. I know Tishman personally, he scaled his own growth, drop shipping, right, to 100K a month before this. And then now he's going to the growth operating space. And so with that in mind, he can brand himself to that concept, that idea of, oh, I did this before, henceforth, I have experience to bring over into this field. So you're branding yourself, associating yourself to the 100K per month that you made. So this would be case studies. This is why case studies work, guys. If you guys wanted to understand the principle behind it, now you know why. Not just that, famous or poppin' people. This is why case studies work, because it's not just the money that you made, but also the person that you helped. And so why this works so well, why we can now go to creators and just approach them, boom, they'll just work instantaneously with us, is because we have our case studies. We have it in the GZ space, we have it in the fitness space, we have it in the relationship dating space. We have all those case studies that we just bring, and we're like, hey, we worked with these people. And by association, by saying, hey, we work with X person and they have 50,000 followers, we made 48K with them in a month. That's individual who is popping. Not just that, but what are the 2 points of status delta? Their follower count, 50K, and then their cash money that we made them. This is why the copywriting behind the case study works well. Now, yes, this is the extreme of that. which, okay, I've got these case studies, I've got that experience, and I just yap about it, and boom, I get the customers. But well, how do you do this without that yet? You brand yourself to things that people find significant. So, for instance, Evan, you asked that question. You're in Singapore. People tie Singapore to wealth. You'd be like, oh yeah, I got hella friends here, here in Singapore. I'm one of the top growth operator G's over here in Singapore, whatever. Of course, to an extent, it may not be, the fullest truth. But the reality, though, is that you're tying these different concepts and branding principles over to yourself. So then, at the end of the day, your bouquet still becomes nice and fluffy. And just get creative with this shit. Because it's not just case study. What do I have as case study? I don't have case study. Okay, I'm fucked. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to stop outreaching. No, it's not that. It's, well, why? Why does the case study work? It's because we've tied it to numbers, and we've also tied it to, I guess fundamentally numbers, but follower numbers and then cash numbers. Well, if the first principle behind these guys are numbers, well, what is the matter with numbers? Well, they're big. They're analytical. This is what humans, they get attached to. And so how can you bring this in your own life? Well, did you have a good score at your school? Were you top A student? Did you kill it with your job before that you were in? How much did you generate at your job for your company? How much of where did you go? What school did you go to? And so you'll see, these Asian moms out there, they got UCLA mom, Harvard mom. They don't know that it's the, fucking what's going to happen to them, but they're the cow and they're getting with the H. That's what's going on with them. With the freaking Harvard on them. Because they got branded. They didn't even know it, but that's what happened. And so you utilize that tactic for yourself too. What can you the creator with as well? Okay. I'm just listing a bunch of things. What school did you go to? What sort of athlete were you at school? Were you a fucking killer? Did you go and make it happen? Just reposition these shits in your mind too. A lot of big things. A lot of things that I see is you guys have done great things. You just don't have the confidence to yak about it. Okay? In the business world, I don't care how humble or, just have a good person you think you are. We're here to freaking get to the goal, and we'll do whatever it takes to get to the goal. And so if that is true, then one thing that we can do is fluff up our story a little bit. It's fine. It's not freaking lying. I give you the permission right now. Me, Tim Yoon, I give you the permission. I sit here and I give it to you. That when you do that, then you will start getting to your goal faster. And so tactics around that. What else? Let me just list a few more. Did you have an incredible test score? And even my marketing too, in us. You guys went through our sales process. You guys understand how everything works, right? And there, I was talking about how I went to UCLA, how I went to freaking Oxford Academy, the top, 19th school in all of the US, top 4th in all of California. California has one of the freaking best educations. Branding, what am I doing there? This shit worked on y'all, so y'all should utilize the same tactics. I branded California, USA right there. I branded Oxford Academy. It's this, official sounding name. I branded UCLA. I branded 19 years old. I branded growth operating. And so with that being said, what can you brand yourself in your life, in your outreach, most precisely when you're in the DMs having those conversations? 2, make the associations to lead to them knowing, liking, and trusting you. And therefore, you establishing that status delta with the creator. Okay, so with these are all really fundamentally the same thing, which is how to provide value. To provide value, you must be valuable. And so if you must be valuable to provide value, how do you become valuable? I have over 20 hours of content in the founder halls, 12 different documents. We recently updated the user interface of that inside of Notion, right, over in the founder halls. We have all these documents that teach you step by step exactly what you got to do to outreach, to sale, to fulfill, whatever. And mostly, guys, one of the biggest levers is actually you learning how to kind of fulfill first, almost at a pretty high level. Because if you do understand this, when the creator asks you a question, you can go about it and answer it with an expert point of view because you understand the system as a whole. It's not about, okay, I have this case study. Okay, I went to, whatever school. That is for the creator. But really what affirms your expert position is the fact that you understand, that you get the principles and the systems and whatever, and that when you go on the call with the creator, when you are outreaching to them, it flows from the core because you understand it yourself. And so, with that being said, well, now, since you have become this educated individual, how do you now create these components? One of the biggest things that we see working, okay, is actually going over to here in the outreach examples and all this stuff right here. When you look at this sort of board here, this is a lot of the outreaches actually that my own brother sent. And so you look at these looms, these are all a bunch of examples about different looms that he sent. You can like literally look at these. He has the fucking Maya boards here. You can just copy them. You can literally copy them. So basically the sales page, what he would do was he literally made the entire sales page for these creators before he outreached them. He wrote all the copy. Like the amount of work that this takes, right? It's pretty tough. But this is how you actually start a creator. This is how you actually do it. And now he has a creator. All this stuff right here. He literally created the entire pitch to these guys before. Looms over here, and then the Miro boards that he has. So this is like his unique mechanism. Here's like a Miro board that you guys can create. And then from here, you guys can shoot a loom off of this. This is like his mechanism. This is his process. This is basically a sales letter. This is why I tell you guys to write the sales letter, because the sales letter maps to something like this. You see all these components? This is just copy and pasted from the sales letter that he wrote. You're starting to see this, right? And so this is what the sales letter kind of goes to. This is how you map the sales letter onto something diagrammable, something visual. Okay, great. You got this, got the sales letter. You send it to the creator like they are washed with the blood of the lamb. They are ready to buy your shite. You get on the call, and the sales call, a big component that you guys can implement is right here. Creator sales script. What you're going to do when you get on the call for the creator, or sorry, when you service deliver for the creator, it's all the same thing. It's the same first principle, right? But over here, you're just creating the sales script for that call. Okay? I have this entire sales script over here in the docs as well, right here. I guess you just yoink and then utilize. Boom, look, you have this entire thing, okay? Like this is crazy powerful. So when you get on the call with the creator, you utilize this. And yeah, so like there's a 2-hour course breaking it entirely down, and then you just go in, use this when you go and close the creator as well. And so that should lead to the simple close. I'm not going to go too deep into it because then this starts to go into creator sales, and this, training is about outreach today. And then, yeah, in terms of showing up on the call, if they did not show up, you did not establish status delta enough. Number 2, please follow up before the call. Another like few really, really tactical, like really, really tangible things that I can teach you right here is a day before the call, confirm. B, on the morning of the call, confirm. Hey, are we good for in blank hours from now? I always say like 8 hours, 7 hours before now. Because you know what the psychology is? They look at that, they say, okay, 7 hours, they say when it was launched, they do math in their head. And they'll then like that shit will be locked in their mind that the call is on that day. So they're like, okay, I gotta show up and talk to Kareem or Leo or on Isaac, Alex, Laurent, Tien, Roshan, whatever, right? And so that is Wujin, that is very important to do before the call. And then even like 5 minutes before the call, hit them up, things like that. That will allow them to show up. And yeah, that is basically like the entire sales process, the entire outreach, to picking that niche, to picking the profile, to all the way down to getting to show up, getting to and freaking book the call with you, everything like that, all broken down and just broken down to you guys all in just 2 darn hours. Okay, so how'd you feel about that, guys? 9 out of 10, whatever, makes sense. Quantity of sauce is crazy. Quantity? What about quality? Learned a lot from you, Furo. You did well, Tim. Thank you, Isaac. Appreciate it. Lol, amazing. Let's go, Mustafa. Umesh, thank you, Timothy. All right, guys, really appreciate y'all appreciating the sauce.